I want to ask you something real quick. Your grandmother or your mother, did she ever bring something home from the woods, from the garden, or from a farm market, brew it up, and tell you to drink it? And you asked, "What is this?" And she just said, "Drink it. It's good for you." No explanation needed, because she already knew, not from books, from the person before her, and the person before that. An unbroken line of knowledge running back thousands of years, straight to her hands and then to yours. What I'm sharing today does not come from any laboratory, not from any supplement company. It comes from the old forests, from scripture, and from the wisdom people carried since God was still naming every living thing. These 15 mushrooms today. People knew about them long before we had the word science to describe why they worked. Stay to the end. Because mushroom number 6 has a story that I believe will make you stop and think about your grandmother. And mushroom number 13, the kind that grows entirely in darkness, invisible to everyone, has been used to heal the exact thing your grandmother or mother may need most right now: peace of mind. And if you just thought of your grandmother or your mother when you heard that, that is exactly why I made this video, not to teach you something new, but to remind you of what your family already knew and to help you understand why they were right. What I am sharing today does not come from any supplement company. It comes from the old forests, from scripture, and from research being confirmed right now. If you have not hit subscribe yet, go ahead. It costs you nothing, and it might just change something. 1. Reishi mushroom. In Job chapter 30, Job describes himself stripped of everything: his health, his vitality, even the sense of God's presence. But there is something worth noting. Ancient Hebrew and ancient Chinese people both gave reishi names that mean almost the same thing: mushroom of renewal and mushroom of immortality. Two civilizations that never knew each other. The same species, the same observation. And the ancient Japanese called it reishi, meaning spirit mushroom. Not because of superstition, but because they observed people who used it regularly tended to live longer, get sick less, and recover faster from prolonged exhaustion. Inside reishi, there is beta-glucan and triterpene. Beta-glucan is a special fiber that the body's immune system recognizes and responds to like greeting an old friend. It activates immune cells that have been dormant, helping them start working again. Triterpene helps reduce inflammation, not the way a painkiller shuts off a signal, but like someone removing the root cause of the problem. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology in 2016 confirmed reishi extract significantly supports immune system activity and reduces markers of chronic inflammation. Here is what most people miss when buying reishi. Only use hot water extraction, not raw powder or alcohol-based products. Beta-glucan dissolves in water, not alcohol. Raw powder has cell walls too tough for digestion. Simmer gently for at least 45 minutes. That is exactly how ancient Chinese physicians prepared it for thousands of years. This does not make it a medicine. It makes it something your body deserves to know about. 2. Lion's mane mushroom. In Proverbs 3:13, scripture says, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding." Ancient Hebrews understood wisdom was not abstract. It was directly connected to the ability to think clearly, remember well, and understand deeply. And in Chinese Buddhist tradition, monks used lion's mane for thousands of years to keep their minds sharp and focused during meditation. Ancient Chinese, Japanese, and Korean people, 3 separate Asian civilizations, independently considered lion's mane the food of the mind. The same white mushroom growing on oak trees, the same conclusion. Inside lion's mane, there are hericenoneocenin and erinacine, 2 compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier and stimulate the body to produce NGF, nerve growth factor. The substance the brain uses to grow and repair neural connections. Think of NGF as the electrician who maintains the wiring inside your brain. When NGF is sufficient, information travels fast and clearly. When NGF is low, connections slow down, memory fades, focus becomes harder. A study published in Phytotherapy Research in 2009 with mildly cognitively impaired older adults confirmed. The lion's mane group showed significant improvement in cognitive scores after 16 weeks compared to the control group. The key tip: eat it fresh or lightly dried. Do not fry or roast at high heat. Herethinone is sensitive to temperatures above 160 degrees Celsius. If cooking, simmer gently in soup or mix freeze-dried powder into warm water. Not a medicine, but this is something your brain had access to before the modern world made it tired. 3. Cordyceps mushroom. There is a specific story recorded in Chinese history. In the 15th century, herders on the Tibetan plateau noticed that their livestock became unusually strong and energetic after eating a small parasitic fungus growing from the bodies of caterpillars. They tried it on themselves and had the same result. That was the first time cordyceps was formally documented. And Japanese, Korean, and Himalayan Indian people also independently discovered the same species with the same observation. It makes the body work as if it were younger. Inside cordyceps, there is cordycepin and adenosine. Adenosine is the molecule the body uses to produce ATP, the fuel that every single cell in your body runs on. Cordycepin helps improve the body's oxygen utilization efficiency. Think of it as upgrading the air filter on an engine. Same amount of oxygen, but the body uses it far more effectively. A study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine in 2010 measured older adults taking cordyceps showed significant improvement in oxygen uptake and physical endurance after 12 weeks. The tip: cordyceps cultivated on grain, CS4 strain, is the most well-researched and safest form for daily use. Wild caterpillar fungus is rare and expensive. Quality is highly inconsistent. CS4 powder mixed into warm water or morning coffee replaces energy drinks without the side effects. This does not make it a miracle. It makes it something worth adding to your morning. 4. Turkey tail mushroom. In Ezekiel 47:12, Scripture describes the trees by the sacred river. Their leaves will not wither, their fruit will not fail, because they are watered from the sanctuary, and their leaves are for healing. Ancient Hebrews understood that nature holds restorative things that people only need to find and use correctly. And turkey tail mushroom is with its colorful fan-shaped layers has been used by Chinese, Japanese, and Native American peoples as an immune support remedy for thousands of years across 3 different continents. Inside turkey tail, there is PSK, polysaccharide K, and PSP, the 2 most well-researched compounds of any medicinal mushroom. PSK activates NK, natural killer cells, the special forces of the immune system responsible for identifying and eliminating abnormal cells before they multiply. This is not new knowledge. PSK has been licensed as a cancer treatment support in Japan since 1977. A study in ISRN Oncology in 2012 confirmed PSK from turkey tail significantly improves support treatment outcomes and survival rates in clinical trials. The tip: turkey tail is extremely easy to identify in nature. It grows in colorful layered fans on dead wood everywhere. If foraging yourself, dry it and simmer it as tea. Important: turkey tail is thin, has no strong smell, and no deep orange-yellow color. If the mushroom you find has those features, it is a different species. This does not make it a replacement for a doctor. It makes it something worth knowing that nature placed around us all along. 5. Chaga mushroom. Chaga does not look like a regular mushroom. It looks like a chunk of black charcoal clinging to birch trees in the -40-degree cold of Siberia. It grows slowly, taking 5 to 10 years to reach harvestable size. And ancient Russians, Finns, and Siberians called it the diamond of the forest. In Job chapter 23, Job says, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come out as gold." Chaga is the mushroom that nature's pressure and hardship transforms into something denser, stronger, and more valuable, like gold through fire. Inside chaga, there is an ORAS value, antioxidant index, among the highest ever measured in nature, 31 times higher than blueberries, more than 100 times higher than coffee. That means chaga neutralizes free radicals, the harmful molecules that age cells and damage DNA, at a rate no fruit or vegetable can match. Chaga also contains betulinic acid drawn from the birch tree, supporting normal programmed cell death. A study in the World Journal of Gastroenterology in 2010 noted chaga significantly reduced tumor size in animal models and supported cellular DNA protection. The tip: chaga cannot be eaten raw or brewed like regular tea. The cell walls are too dense. You must simmer for at least 4 hours or use a pressure cooker to extract the beta-glucans and betulinic acid. The resulting water looks like black coffee, slightly bitter, earthy aroma. If buying chaga powder, verify the source is Siberian or Canadian. Lab-grown chaga does not carry the same betulinic acid content. Like gold through fire, nature sometimes saves its best gifts for the harshest places. 6. Desert truffles, emotional peak. Tell the story first. Do not name the mushroom yet. Let me take you back to a morning in the Sinai Desert, approximately 3,400 years ago. More than 2 million people, old and young, men and women, had just walked out of Egypt. They had no food, they had no farmland. They had only desert ahead of them and the promise of God behind them. And then, every single morning, they found food on the ground. Not once, but every day for 40 years. The book of Exodus describes it as small, round, white, and sweet. The people called it manna, which means, "What is this?" because they had never seen anything like it before. For centuries, theologians have debated what manna was, but natural historians noticed a detail. The Sinai Peninsula and the entire Middle East region have a very unusual species of fungus, desert truffles from the Terfeziaceae family. They grow completely underground, emerging after rains, and local people still harvest them today, calling them kameh. The desert's liquid gold. Shape, small, round. Color when cut, ivory white. Taste, slightly sweet. Ancient Hebrew people knew exactly how to identify them. This is not definitive proof. No one can state it with certainty. But this is the kind of question you cannot stop asking when you read Scripture's description alongside images of this mushroom. And when you look at what God may have chosen to nourish his people for 40 years. Here is what is inside. Desert truffles are rich in complete protein, trehalose, and ergosterol, a vitamin D precursor that the body synthesizes upon sun exposure. For people living outdoors in the desert sun all day, this is a perfect natural vitamin D source. Additionally, trehalose, a unique sugar, protects cells under harsh conditions and is why desert truffles survive in environments where most organisms cannot. A study in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis in 2020 confirmed Middle Eastern desert truffles contain unusually high levels of protein, minerals, and vitamin D precursors, making them an exceptional survival food source. The tip: they can be eaten fresh, roasted, or dried. Do not peel them. The thin outer skin contains the highest mineral concentration. And this thing may have fed more than 2 million people for 40 years in the wilderness. God does not reach for the miraculous when he can reach for something truly good. 7. Agaricus blazei. In the 1960s, American researchers noticed something unusual about a small Brazilian village, Piedade. People there lived significantly longer and had noticeably lower rates of chronic disease compared to surrounding areas. After years of research, they found the reason. People there ate a mushroom that grew naturally around their village as a daily part of their meals. They called it Cogumelo de Deus, God's mushroom. Japanese scientists brought the mushroom back to study and named it Agaricus blazei miril. And here is what they found. This mushroom contains beta-glucan with a uniquely branched structure, unlike any other mushroom species, that activates multiple branches of the immune system simultaneously rather than one at a time. A study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine in 2002 from Japan confirmed Agaricus blazei significantly increased NK cell activity and improved quality of life in older adults. The tip: only use hot water, extracted or fully dried forms. Fresh mushroom is difficult to preserve and has much lower beta-glucan content. When buying, look for products labeled clearly Agaricus blazei ABM and a stated beta-glucan percentage on the label. At least 15 to 30%. Folks, finding genuinely quality medicinal mushroom sources without adulteration is the hardest part of this entire journey. I have put the links to what I actually trust for my own family in the description below. This is stewardship, not advertising. 8. Meitake, dancing mushroom. Meitake in Japanese means dancing mushroom, not because of its shape, but because when people found it in the forest, they danced with joy. In feudal Japan, meitake was so valuable it could be exchanged for silver by equal weight. And ancient Chinese healers also knew this mushroom, documenting it as food that balances blood circulation and restores metabolism. Two civilizations, the same oak forests, the same conclusion. Inside meitake, there is D-fraction beta-glucan, a uniquely studied form of beta-glucan known for its ability to help the body manage insulin response and blood sugar levels. When blood sugar stabilizes, bioinflammation decreases, energy becomes consistent, and most importantly, the body stops storing fat in uncontrolled ways. A study in the Journal of Medicinal Food in 2010 confirmed. Meitake extract significantly supported blood glucose management and improved insulin sensitivity in people with type 2 diabetes. The tip: meitake is edible and delicious, not just a medicinal mushroom. Sauté lightly in olive oil and salt. Keep the heat moderate so the beta-glucan is not destroyed, or add to soup in the last 10 minutes before turning off the heat. No powders needed, no decoctions, just normal cooking. Does that sound familiar to you? Have you ever wondered why ancient Japanese people danced when they found this thing? Now you know why. 9. Wild oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushroom is not unfamiliar, but wild oyster mushrooms growing on ancient trees in the Mediterranean and biblical lands are entirely different from the kind grown in sawdust bags sold at markets. Ancient Hebrews, ancient Greeks, and Romans all knew the wild oyster mushroom growing naturally in Mediterranean forests. Hippocrates, and the father of Western medicine, described mushrooms as the highest restorative food source after animal protein. Inside wild oyster mushrooms, there is natural lovastatin, the same compound the pharmaceutical industry synthesizes artificially and sells as cholesterol-lowering medication worth billions every year. Oyster mushrooms also contain ergothioneine, a special antioxidant that the human brain preferentially absorbs above other antioxidants. A study in Molecules in 2017 confirmed wild oyster mushrooms contain significantly higher lovastatin and ergothioneine levels than commercially grown varieties. The tip: prioritize fresh oyster mushrooms grown on wood, not sawdust grown. Look at the gills, clean white, not wet or slimy. Sauté quickly for 2 to 3 minutes on high heat. Overcooking destroys the ergothioneine. Adding to dinner 3 times a week is enough to feel the difference. Hippocrates already knew. We just spent a few decades forgetting. 10. Jelly ear mushroom. This is a mushroom that carries a sad piece of history with it. Its Western scientific name is Auricularia auriculajudae, the ear of Judas. European folk tradition tells that after Judas betrayed Jesus and died on an elder tree, this mushroom, shaped like a small human ear, began appearing on that tree's bark. Whether or not this is legend, it shows this mushroom has been woven into the spiritual and cultural life of Western people for thousands of years. Ancient Chinese healers did not need that story, Amoarthine. They simply called it blackwood ear mushroom and had used it for over 2,000 years as a blood-nourishing and body-cooling food. Inside jelly ear, there are polysaccharides with natural blood-thinning properties. They prevent platelets from clumping excessively, helping blood circulate more smoothly. This is why ancient Chinese called it a blood-nourishing mushroom. Not because it creates blood, but because it helps blood do its job better. A study in Food and Chemical Toxicology in 2010 noted polysaccharides in jelly ear mushroom inhibit platelet aggregation, a mechanism similar to aspirin but gentler and without stomach irritation. The tip: dried jelly ear should be soaked in cold water for 30 minutes, not hot water, which ruins the texture. Then add to soup or stir fry. Eat 2 to 3 times a week. Avoid excessive amounts because the blood-thinning effect may interact with anticoagulant medications if you are taking them. A small ear-shaped mushroom growing on old bark. Thousands of years of observation turned it into wisdom. 11. Wild shiitake mushroom. Shiitake mushroom has been cultivated in China for at least 1,000 years BCE, but the wild variety, growing naturally on oak and maple trees along the Silk Road, from China through Central Asia to the biblical Near East, contains significantly higher concentrations of active compounds than modern commercial cultivation. People along the ancient Silk Road, Chinese, Persians, and ancient Arabs, all knew this mushroom as longevity food, not because of legend, but because they observed. People who ate it regularly got sick less and stayed healthier longer. 3 civilizations, the same mushroom, the same result. Inside wild shiitake, there is lentinin, an AAHCC, active hexose correlated compound. Lentinin is a specialized beta-glucan that has been licensed as a gastric cancer treatment support drug in Japan since 1980. AHCC activates T cells and NK cells, the 2 main forces of the immune system. A study in Nutrition Journal in 2015 with 52 healthy adults confirmed. Daily consumption of shiitake for 4 weeks significantly improved the number and function of immune cells compared to before the trial. The critical tip: sun-dry shiitake mushrooms for 2 to 3 hours before use. Place them gills side up in direct sunlight. This increases the vitamin D2 content in the mushroom 10 to 20 times over. Ancient Japanese people did this without knowing why. They only knew sun-dried mushrooms were better for health. Modern science has now explained why. The old observation was right from the beginning. 12. Mannalichin. This is the strangest species on this list, and also the one most directly connected to scripture. Lecanora esculenta is a lichen, not purely a mushroom, but a symbiosis between fungus and algae. It grows in dry regions from North Africa to the Middle East. And the unusual thing is, it detaches from the ground in the wind and falls like rain after strong winds or light rain showers. The German botanist Ehrenberg actually witnessed the phenomenon of lichen falling like rain in Syria in 1828. And when he analyzed it, a sweet taste, small round shape, ivory white color, he immediately recalled Scripture's description of manna. Inside Lecanora esculenta, there is usnic acid and evernic acid, 2 unusually potent natural antibacterial compounds. Usnic acid is one of the most studied natural antibiotics. It inhibits gram-positive bacteria, including some antibiotic-resistant strains. A study in Journal of Ethnopharmacology in 2008 confirmed. Edible lichens of the Middle East have significant antibacterial and antioxidant activity and have served as emergency food throughout history. Not for home preparation, this is an item to contemplate and to know about. Because sometimes the most sacred things are not supernatural, they are so naturally occurring that people do not recognize them until science catches up. 13. Poria cocos / Wolfiporia. Nobody sees it growing. Poria cocos has no stem, no cap, nothing visible above ground. It grows entirely in darkness under pine roots, deep inside the earth, sometimes a full meter below the surface. People only know it is there when they dig. In Psalm 139:15, David writes, "My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth." Some of the most important things are formed in darkness, unseen by anyone, and wait until exactly the right time to be found. In traditional Chinese medicine, Poria cocos is called Bai Fu Ling, one of the 4 great herbs, the 4 most precious medicines. For 2,000 years, it has been used for one purpose that no other herb does better: calming the spirit, settling the mind, healing wounds that cannot be spoken. Inside Poria cocos, there is pachimic acid and pachymin beta-glucan. Pachimic acid directly modulates GABA receptor activity in the brain. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter of the central nervous system. When GABA functions in balance, anxiety decreases, sleep deepens, the mind becomes calmer. Not sedation, but returning the nervous system to the state it was originally designed to operate in. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology in 2013 confirmed Poria cocos significantly improved sleep quality and reduced anxiety without producing heavy sedative side effects. The tip: Poria cocos needs at least 30 minutes of simmering to extract pachimic acid. Available as powder or dried pieces. Drink in the evening before bed. And most importantly, be patient. The effects accumulate over 2 to 4 weeks of consistent use, not overnight. It grows in darkness and waits to be found. Sometimes the things that heal us most deeply are just as quiet. 14. Ink cap mushroom. Of all 15 mushrooms on this list, this one is the most unusual and the most symbolic. The ink cap is not eaten as medicine, but it teaches us something Scripture mentions many times: transformation and renewal. The ink cap's life cycle: it grows up, blooms beautifully, then dissolves itself into black liquid ink within just a few hours. It leaves nothing behind but a pool of black ink on the ground. In medieval Europe, this ink was used to write important documents, including some biblical and legal texts, the words of God written in ink from a self-dissolving mushroom. From a scientific perspective, during its self-dissolution process, the ink cap releases coprine, a compound that inhibits the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase, which the body uses to process alcohol. This makes the ink cap a mushroom that cannot be combined with alcohol. Anyone who eats it and drinks alcohol will feel very unwell. For this reason, in some European countries, it was historically used as a folk remedy to support alcohol cessation. A study in the Chemical and Pharmaceutical Bulletin in 1980 confirmed coprine's role in inhibiting aldehyde dehydrogenase, the same mechanism as the drug disulfiram used in alcohol addiction treatment. Important: only eat when young and before it begins to dissolve. Once it starts dissolving, do not eat it, and do not drink alcohol for 3 days after eating ink cap mushrooms. Sometimes what reminds us of dissolution is exactly what helps us treasure renewal more. 15. Fly agaric. Historical perspective. Warning: this mushroom is toxic. Do not eat under any circumstances. This is a historical and symbolic perspective only. This is the mushroom almost everyone recognizes immediately. Bright red with white spots, like something that stepped out of a fairy tale. And that is exactly why I am including it here. Not to eat, but because its story raises profound questions about the wonder of nature. To be completely clear first, Amanita muscaria contains the toxins ibotenic acid and muscimol. Do not eat it under any circumstances. Even scholars who study it do not consume it. The historical perspective, ethnomycologist E.R. Gordon Wasson and later John Marco Allegro proposed that Amanita muscaria may have played a role in ancient religious rituals across multiple civilizations, from Siberian shamans who used it in spiritual ceremonies, to ancient Aryans, possibly related to Soma in the Vedas, to certain symbols appearing in medieval religious art. This is contested theory, not confirmed historical fact. Many scholars strongly oppose these proposals. What is not contested: Amanita muscaria is the most painted and documented mushroom species in all of human history. From cave art to medieval engravings, it appears everywhere in the cultural memory of humanity. And that itself raises a question. Why would a toxic mushroom captivate human attention so powerfully for thousands of years? The answer may be simpler than we think. Because nature sometimes creates its most beautiful and most dangerous things in the same form, reminding us that wonder and respect must always walk together. Know about it, admire it, and do not eat it. Here is what runs through all 15 of these mushrooms, and almost no one says it clearly enough. The way industry processes mushrooms destroys exactly what your body needs. Not a conspiracy theory, simple chemistry. Folks, think about this. Most mushroom powder sold on the market is raw powder ground from the whole mushroom body, without extraction. Mushroom cell walls are made of chitin, the same material as shrimp and crab shells. The human digestive system cannot break down chitin, which means the beta-glucans and active compounds inside are completely locked in. They enter and exit without ever reaching the bloodstream. A simple way to identify it: look at the label. If it only says mushroom powder without also saying hot water extract or dual extract, you are buying expensive chitin powder. Additionally, many products mix mushroom mycelium grown on grain, rice, then sell the grain and mushroom together as if it were pure mushroom. Mycelium grown on grain has beta-glucan concentrations 10 to 20 times lower than actual mushroom fruiting bodies. You do not need to spend more money, you just need to read the label and know what you are buying. I have put the links in the description. The sources I actually trust from my own family. This is stewardship, not advertising. In Genesis chapter 1, God looked at everything he had created and declared, it was very good. Not just good, but very good. He did not create ancient forests for decoration. He did not create the wilderness to be empty. Every ecosystem, every living species was placed there with a purpose. And most of those purposes we still have not fully understood. The 15 mushrooms today are not a list for you to start all at once tomorrow. Pick one, just one. The one that made you think, this one, I want to learn more about it. Think about your own kitchen table for a moment. Was there a mushroom among these 15 that you remember your grandmother or mother using? Or a forest remedy from childhood that you have not thought about in years? Share it with me in the comments. I read every single one. If you are someone searching for reconnection with nature as the Creator designed it, living more slowly, closer to the earth, trusting the wisdom placed inside the natural world, then this is our place. Remember, I share this as someone who loves nature and self-reliance, not as a doctor. Please consult a healthcare professional before making significant changes, especially if you are taking medications. God bless. Take good care of yourselves. ****